Hey folks, hi, this is Gigi. Thanks for coming back. Glad to return. Today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. We are having a sparkling one water cherry starburst flavor with a shot of coconut rum. Here we go. Alright, tasted it. Tasted kind of light and kind of good, and Gigi be liking it. So anyway, thanks for coming back. I hope you're having a good week. You know, it's Friday, last day of the week. And I hope you're looking forward to a weekend filled with fun and frolic. That's right, baby. So, okay, today we're going to be talking about resilience. And there was a quote that I had mentioned in my money drop that I did. And here's a quote. Resilience is knowing that you are the only one who has the power and responsibility to pick yourself up. Mary Holloway. And I was thinking about that because as women over 60, you know, power versus resilience, are they the same? I had even asked Big Dog about this, if he saw power and resilience as the same. And he said no. I said, what? And he said he saw power as to be powerful. That means you're just getting through it. You're just strong, you're powerful, and that's it. He says you can be powerful and strong, but you may not be resilient, meaning that you're depleted of your power and you lay flat. And in order to get back up, that's where resilience comes back in. And I think as females, as we've gotten older, we have gone through a whole lot of things that we've had to get it back up from. You know, we've raised families, we've had kids, you know, some of us have. Gone through our careers. Maybe we're still working. Maybe we retired. Relationships, divorce, passing of our partners, still in a relationship, different relationships, rebuilding a relationship. You know, so we've survived heartbreaks, whether it's a loss of a loved one, your parents, family, whatever, heartbreak, and even having to start over a few times. That's where resilience comes into play. Because we've all, by the time we reach our age, I'm talking about over 60, we've gone through some of those trials and tribulations of life. And if you didn't have resilience, you're still back there. But if you had resilience, you've moved forward. But what I was curious about, so are they different? You know, what is it that pushed me through? You know, reflecting on back when I was growing up as a young female, young girl, coming from my household, I always got the message about being strong. My mom wanted some strong females that could take care of themselves, because her thinking was if anything should ever happen, she wanted her girls to be able to take care of themselves. And the way I received the message, I needed to be strong. I needed to take care of shit. I need to take care of my business. And I'm kind of like that. You probably know that already. So that was the mess. I'm not saying that's what my mom was delivering, but that's the message that I received. So, and I should have asked my sister if she received the same message. I think I conveyed to my girl that I wanted her to be self-sufficient, that I wanted her to be determined, and I wanted her to be strong, and I wanted her to be able to be have a strong mindset. Well, unfortunately, my daughter did all of those things, and sometimes, you know, what are you going to do? She's a good girl, but damn, she is strong-willed, and she's got an opinion, and she's living her life. But at the end of the day, that's really what you want. So let's see. Let's talk about power, because that's what we're going to be dissecting here. Power and resilience. So power can often be seen as in control, like the ability to make decisions, hard decisions, or whatever decisions you have to make. The ability maybe to influence others, to stand firm, stand your ground. For younger females, then maybe you're climbing that ladder, man, you're moving forward, you're doing everything that you have to do. You have a strong voice, you know, and sometimes you may be the only female in a room, but your voice is the one that needs to be strong, and needs, you know, you want to make sure you're heard. But by the time you reach my age, you know, power may feel a little bit different. because it's not so much about controlling the world. Maybe it's about controlling my environment, controlling what's in front of me, because you've learned that your influence can only go so far. And really, what's most important is what you're going to allow into your life. What people, that is a power. That is about power. What are you allowing to come into your life? Who are you allowing into your life? What are you allowing to deplete your time? Not deplete, but take your time. What are you allowing, or what are you willing to spend your time with? Those are all powerful decisions, So I can kind of see that. Now, resilience can be identified as a superpower, because you have to have the ability to be able to fall down and get back up. And I believe this to be very, very true. Because you know what? Shit's going to happen. You're going to fall. But you can't stay down. Because if you stay down, nothing changes. You continue. The situation is going to remain the same. If you do not change your situation after you've fallen, and you're still sitting there thinking, what the hell happened? Ain't nothing going to change. Or it's like, what was it that Einstein said? If you continue to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, that's a sign of insanity. So the same way, if you continue to sit there and expecting something to happen, ain't nothing going to happen. You're still sitting there. So getting back up is the important step you have to take in order to move forward. And that's where resilience comes in. And I do believe, like, a work ethic to me is something that not everybody has. I think it's a part of who you are, but not everybody has that. I'm not saying not everybody can learn, can gain a strong work ethic, or can learn how to have a strong work ethic, but I think to some it may come easier. And I think that's the same for being resilient. I think some people have an innate ability to be able to do that, and some people, I think this is where I see where people play the victim. And I've known people like that. And it's like, really? They blame everybody else for their situation. The truth is, they ain't got nobody to blame but themselves. Yes, there are some things that are beyond our control, but the way we react to them is what we have control in. And I think that's where the resilience comes into play. Because every time you have the ability to adapt, you get stronger. Every time you have a loss or a failure, and you get back up and you deal with it, and you maybe try something new, or if you deal with your loss or whatever it is that you're going through, and you've learned from it, and now you're going to start handling that situation differently, you've gained something from that. That's called experience and wisdom. Because now I ain't doing that again. Well, because if you do, that's on you. But you want to be able to learn so we don't continue to make the same mistakes. And sometimes we're going to make the same mistake a couple of times. Because sometimes it's hard for us to really think, really? Really? And it isn't until maybe, we've gone through it that we think, well, maybe I do need to adjust. Because maybe if you change, that's part of accepting the fact that you failed. Or maybe it's part of accepting the truth about who that person is. If it's a relationship that we're talking about, or if it's a job, that you put all your heart and soul into this job because this is what we're gonna, what you need. This is, where you're gonna go with it, but it ain't moving in the right direction. Then you gotta change. I'm a firm believer, especially in regards to a job, because I've had many jobs where I've enjoyed the people I worked with. Maybe the pay wasn't great, but I enjoyed the people I worked with. But when that starts to change, then where's my payoff? You always have to have a payoff. I equate that more with a job, but really it's for everything, whether it's a relationship, a job, whatever it is that you're in, you always got to have a payoff. Because if you don't get a payoff, the why you're doing it. The payoff can be, it makes you smile. You feel good about doing it. The job that you have. You feel good about the person that you're in a relationship with. You enjoy the time. You enjoy the way they make you feel. You enjoy helping them. Whatever it is, if there's no longer a payoff, then that's when things have to change. And, that's why I say with a job, sometimes if people will stay and people will work hard, if they believe in whoever their leaders are, if they believe in what they're doing, if it serves a purpose, people will stay. That's anything. Not just a job, really, relationship. But once that's gone, there's nothing left. And that's where you have to decide as part of resilience. I got to get out, but what am I going to do? What am I going to do next? How do I do that? What's my next chapter? And I think as females, as we've gotten older, we've had to do a lot of that. Some of us, like I said earlier, have gone through divorce, or we've lost a partner, or we're empty nesters, or kids have gone and they're out of the house, or, we've lost a job, or we've retired. Whatever life has thrown at us, by the time we reach our age, over 60, we've gone through a number of trials and tribulations. But really, it's the way we want to react to it. And we don't have to react to it the way we have in the past. We can change. We can make it something totally different. You can dye your hair pink. Well, not that I have pink hair now. You can dye your hair purple. Not that I have purple hair now, but I have in the past. You can step out of your box. You don't owe anybody anything. The only one you owe anything to is, you have faith. Okay, that's great. You have a faith that centers you and you know that you're going the path. But as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're doing good to you and you're taking care of yourself, your energy of positivity will go out to other people and they will react to it. They may look at you like, okay, what's going on? But the energy you're giving them, if it's good, if it's light, they'll react to that and they'll appreciate that. Because people react to the way that you make them feel. You know what I'm saying? And we've talked about that before. So just because you're in a situation that is now going to change, or you're getting out of a situation because it has to change.
You got that right. Woo!
That's where you can rediscover who you really want to be. And by the time you're, like I'm 67, you can be whoever you want to be. Like my mama says, be who you want to be.
Who do you want to be?
Okay, Mom. Who's that? Because I've always tried to do the right thing. I've always kind of felt that I needed to take care of business. And I've kind of always done that. And that's fine because I think that's part of who I am. But wanting to get out of the box a little bit is fun in seeing the reaction from other people, like doing the videos. I don't think many people really expected me to be on a YouTube channel. I don't think many people expected me to be having this type of channel where I'm just talking about life and what my perspective is, because there's only one perspective here, that's Gigi's, because I've only lived this life. I don't know what other perspective to give. This is my perspective. So I don't think people would have expected to see me here 10 or 20 years ago. I think I would have been too shut down, just too shut down. 20 years ago, there's no way I would be where I am today. There's just no way. But the fact is I had to go through that to get here. I had to bounce back from that to get here. I had to, because I don't regret any of it, because that's part of who I am today. And I don't know how it could be any different. Because some people will say, well, if you could go back, would you change anything? And I'm thinking, no, because if I change one thing, it's like, let me go back. It's like to that movie, Benjamin Button. I don't think that's the name of the movie. It was Brad Pitt. And it's about, and I'm sure people know the story about this baby that's born, but instead of growing up, the baby's actually the baby's growing up, but he's aging really, really, really fast. Is that the way it goes? Or was he, no, he stays younger. He stays young. Yeah. Because he meets his, he stays young. He doesn't grow old. There's something wrong with him. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I'm going to put the title of it right here. But I think it's Benjamin Button. Anyway, Gigi gets sidetracked sometimes. Sorry, folks. Gigi needs a drink. In the sequence of this movie, this ballerina gets hit by a car. And it shows how if this guy wasn't late, if this guy hadn't picked something up, he gets in the car, if he hadn't missed this, all these little things that go one at a time, they build up to the fact that he ends up hitting this gal that's actually a ballerina who affects her ability to be a dancer. She ends up being a teacher. In this movie, of all those little things didn't fall into line, she would have been able to meet, the Brad Pitt character.
Caroline, this is Benjamin.
I wouldn't mind meeting the Brad Pitt character. Anyway, she wouldn't have met him because they ended up getting together. They had a child. The same thing here. If I change one thing, my kids wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have my girl tribe. I wouldn't have met Big Dog. And I'm glad I met him. My kids are. I'm so proud of my kids. My babies. They're my bliss. So if I change one thing, I change all of that. So we have to be mindful of what we say. Do you regret anything? Would you change one thing? Be mindful of that. Be mindful of what you're really saying. I don't regret anything. But now where I'm at today, I have the ability to change what my outcome moving forward. And that's where your resilience and your power comes into play. Because now I do have the power of resilience. I think to me, I feel I have always had that power of resilience, because that's really what it is. I think resilience is like a superpower, and I've always had it. And now I can cultivate it to really do whatever I want to do now. My kids are grown. It's just me and Big Dog here, aside from Luna, who might have something to say every now and then. But it's just me and him. And we're in a good place. He's a good guy. He encourages me to do whatever I want to do, which is great. So the only limitations I have are the ones I put on myself. So if you get to a place that you're able to rebuild and rethink and resculpture and reinvent who you really want to be, that's part of your superpower as far as resilience, because we all know you had to get through something. We all know you went through something. And as hard as it is, you're here now. So what are you going to do now? That's where your resilience comes into play. That's where your superpower comes into play. Now you can do something, especially by the time you reach my age or over 60. You're at a place that really, you probably don't have a lot of obligations as far as responsibility, as far as kids. They more likely have already left. It's just you, baby. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do with your time? That's your power. So don't underestimate it. And we have a responsibility for ourselves and to ourselves to make sure that we're being mindful of that, of our time, of who we are and what we want to be. You got it? Let me read that quote again, because I think it kind of goes in line as to what we're talking about here. Let me go ahead and get it here. Resilience is knowing that you are the only one who has the power and the responsibility to pick yourself up. And that's by Mary Holloway. And especially for women over 60, resilience creates power. Don't underestimate that. Every challenge you've overcome is proof that you're powerful. We are powerful. And every choice you make for yourself and the time you spend, and you spend it with resilience in action. Because you're here. You're here. Because of your resilience, because of your power, you're here. So don't underestimate that. And we're all here for a purpose. Good, better, and different, we're all here for a purpose. And don't underestimate the reasons why you're here. Just have faith in knowing that it's for good. And we want to try to continue to do good things and the right things. That's all we can do. Right? So let me just close this up here by saying, so maybe resilience and power aren't the same, but maybe they're sisters. Power is the voice you speak, with resilience being the backbone that holds you up. And for women over 60, we don't have to choose. We carry both already. Remember that, because we've been through it. So, like I said, be interested to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, tits up, folks. Ciao.
We're getting ready, getting ready at the dance floor. So turn the lights on. You know just what we're here for. We're moving like